Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a blessed day. This is going to be a really interesting conversation. You leave your comments and tell me what you think about it. I know what atheists think. They're gonna get mad. They're gonna get upset because they're so anti-religious. But have they ever really examined their beliefs? And I bring this topic up because because I was talking to an atheist. And when I talk to atheists, they can be more dogmatic about being an atheist than a person than a, more dogmatic than a person who's a Christian or a Baptist or a Buddhist or whatever. And it made me wonder, is it a religion? Because usually religions, a person can sometimes be their character can be defined by their religion. In fact, if you believe in your religion, it should define your character to a certain extent. So my question to you is, does an atheist character define who he is to a certain extent? Does it define how he lives his life? What he values, what he does not value? You tell me. Okay, the dictionary gives a short definition, and it just says for atheists, one who denies the existence of God. Now, this is interesting because when I used to get into conversations with people about whether or not God exists, I found that the conversations, if you listen, that they're actually the same conversation. You can use the same reasoning for atheism as you can for monotheism. You just flip the coin on the other side. And I've noticed that if you pay attention to the conversation, you'll notice that the conversation is just a flip of the coin. Just a flip of the coin because it's all based on, I guess it's all based on logic. And the thing about it is that you can't prove the existence of God logically. You're going to need, you're going to need, you're going to need an interesting type, you're going to need proof. And by proof, I mean, you're going to need, in my opinion, you're going to need truth builds up. It always builds up. So if you get so many truths, if you get so many truths and it starts to add up, for instance, for God, my Hermetic philosophy from the Kabbalion, it says that God is infinite living mind and we live in the mind of God. So if you say God is omnipotent, omnipresent, all powerful, and you say we exist in the mind of God, then you could easily rationalize if we live in the mind of God, like a dream or a dream or a meditation, you could say that God is everywhere because we God is everywhere because we're in his mind. So God's everywhere. We could say God is everywhere, all powerful, because in a dream you can do what you want to do, so you got control of the dream. Omnipresent, all powerful. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. If we exist within the mind of God like a dream, and then you can even add to that and say that God's dreams are immortal because God is immortal, but our dreams are finite because we are mortal. So that kind of adds up. So whatever definition a person gives of God, you can fit it in the framework that we live in the mind of God. Losing my train of thought. Now, atheists, on the other hand, will say that God doesn't exist because God is not available or recognizable through the five senses. Interesting. But let's not get off the subject because what we're talking about question is atheism a religion? Now, the definition of atheism, a disbelief in the existence of deity, a doctrine that there is no deity. And that's what I mean by flipping, that you can flip the coin. The coin can be flipped on both sides. On one side of a coin, I believe in God. On the other side of the coin, I don't believe in God. So it's just a flip of the coin. But how strongly, how passionate does a person hold that atheist belief? Is that atheist belief as strong as the belief of a Christian or a Muslim or whatever? And then another question, do atheists tend to stick with atheists? Do atheists have more in common with other atheists? So the question is, besides the flip of a coin, why wouldn't atheism be a religion? It's a belief, and you base your life on it. So why wouldn't it be a religion? And I know right now atheists are burning up. It's not a religion because all religions believe in God. Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. Buddhists, do they believe in God? Is Buddhism a religion? Or is it a philosophy? If atheism, is that a religion or philosophy? Maybe we should look up the definition of philosophy. If we look up the definition of philosophy, and atheism can fit in that definition, along with religion, it's going to get interesting. Hold on for a second. I'm going to look up philosophy. I really don't have to look up philosophy because philosophy is really the study of everything. Well, that was horrible because the definition of philosophy is just it's way too long. And it's way too long. It's got about 10 or 12 different definitions, and atheism could come under the definition of philosophy. But my whole point is that if it's like one professor said that religion is a belief system, and when he said that struck a chord. So my question is, if religion is a belief system that God exists, and atheism is a belief system that God does not exist, I guess the main question is, must the religion believe there is a God? But then again, can a religion believe in many gods? If a religion can believe in many gods and a religion can believe in one God, then why can't atheism be a religion that believes in no God? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to end it here. But if you leave me a comment, I'd like to hear your point of view. Personally, I like to think of atheism as a religion. Now, I'm not trying to tell you what to think, but to me, it's a religion because it's a belief system, and people can be so dogmatic about it as if they just know. As if they just know that God doesn't exist. And how can you just know that? It's the same thing. I look at religion the same way. How can you just know that God exists? How can you just know that God doesn't exist? Now, my experience, I know that God exists. But to make a long story short, God is not like a shoe that you misplace under your bed and you can look for it and find it and identify it. God is infinite living mind. And the way to find God, the way that God will come to you, speaking from my experience, you have to forget about everything you know and search for truth. Study all the different religions and study truth. And if you are sincere, then God will find you. And like I said in other posts, God is infinite living mind. We live inside the mind of God. And I'll tell you something, I probably shouldn't even, I'm really getting off subject of this. My recognition of God came through vibrations. It came through vibrations that just would not go away until I finally said, okay, I believe in God. And at that time, I was reading the Kabbalion, the book of Hermetic philosophy. I was wondering if I should do some videos on Hermetic philosophy. I was looking through it, and it said, you know what? The funny thing is that I don't care what it is. There's there's always going to be quacks. There's always going to be quacks getting into it, and then and then they just let their imaginations run wild. They tell, oh yeah, I could do this, magic that. Man, give me a break with that. Well, anyway, if you want to find God, throw away everything that you think you know, and start brand new. Study all the religions. Find out what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. The things that make sense, hold on to. The things that doesn't seem to make sense, put them on the back burner. But anyway, I hope this I hope this helped you. I hope this was kind of thought provoking. I think it's good mental exercise to think about things. But in the meanwhile, if you enjoyed the post, didn't really exactly go where I wanted to go with it, but hey, did the best I can. God bless. Have a nice day, and I'll see you around.